So we've talked a lot about what's eligible for the CFAP, but we haven't really talked about what's ineligible. Do you want to talk a little bit about what's ineligible and why?
Well, actually, what happened last night is they updated the USDA farmers.gov, and in doing so, that we up to now we've been trying to figure out what was eligible, as you said, but now we've started getting some guidance in what's not eligible. I just want to refer here to the slide and just go through the list and listen for what is not eligible. Once we get through this list, then if you believe it's not, if you've got a crop that or a farm product that should be eligible, we're going to tell you how to make application for that. So this is not final. And that's the other thing I want to say as we go through this. You know, we keep getting more and more. These laws that were passed, we keep getting more and more updates. So this will not be the final list. There will be stuff added to the ineligible. There'll be stuff added to the eligible. But let's look right straight here on the slide. And it says, remember, this is a list that did not suffer a 5% or greater decline between mid-January 2020 and mid-April 2020. So these items, again, are ineligible because they did not suffer a market decline. Specifically, they include sheep more than 2 years old, egg layers, soft red winter wheat, hard red winter wheat, white wheat, rice, flax, rye, peanuts, feed barley, extra long staple, cotton, alfalfa, forage crop, hemp, and tobacco. Now, again, this is a specific list, but, you know, it's one of those things, again, Laura, as you said, you know, we're getting more and more, you know, calls and stuff on, you know, what's eligible. And one of the things I'd like to say is you and I had a discussion over the weekend about a certain livestock, and you raised a very good question. And because I was of an opinion that adult animals counted, and you raised a very good question. And what was that question?
Well, when you look down to what qualified under hogs, they have pigs and hogs, and cattle, they have, you know, what we thought were calves and grown cows, but under sheep, they just had lambs.
Okay. So what you're saying there is that, you know, where it said lambs, you were worried about the adults.
Yeah, well, it didn't seem consistent. Why would they have only babies in one category? And
so this clarified it. It's a fact lambs count, but the sheep do not. Whereas over in the cattle area, you know, where we had the breakdown below 600, above 600 in weight, where we had the slaughter or the feed cattle, there was fed cattle, and then there was, you know, the cull, the slaughter animals, and then all other. And I think while we're on that point, I just want to jump over here if I know how to navigate this. And I want to look at the actual new applications out there that, if you'll see below, we're doing in another video. But the important thing had raised a lot of questions is if I look specifically here at line Part E livestock, item number 21. It says January 15th, 2020 to April 15th, 2020, sales of owned inventory as of January 15th, 2020, and any offspring from owned inventory. So because that, this is another one of those things where that in tax law, farm inventory is not breeding stock. But over here on USDA, then it says that inventory, including any offsprings from owned inventory. So that by definition says it should include your adult animals. So when I'm filling out this form, I'm going to fill out for the cow and for the calf. But remember, just like the question we had on the sheep that you had, and I have on some other areas, we're going to get more and more clarification as we go through this. So this is just a good example of the more, it's almost like the more you know, the more questions they are. And that's why we want people to subscribe, because over this next couple of weeks, there's going to be quite a few videos. So I'm going to switch back over real quick to the ineligible. And what happens, Debbie, if we have a crop that we believe should qualify?
So if you think that you have something that would qualify that's listed in here as ineligible, the USD is actually going to consider those items if you can show them that they have taken more than a 5% loss. They're going to be taking comments, and they can be submitted through the two methods that are listed on your screen there also by June 22nd.
Do you think it would be okay? I noticed that you said if it's something that's ineligible. What happens if I have a product or commodity that's not on this list? And I think a good example, Laura, is what's specific. They in this request here, they got very specific, some items that's not eligible, but it's not on the ineligible list, which tells me there's still more things.
Yeah.
So like the nursery products,
The nursery products or the cut flowers. I assume that those took a big hit with the quarantining. And so I guess they're trying to figure out more information on that to see if it's something that should be eligible or not eligible, if they hit that 5% loss or not.
Right. And to follow up, we've here on this, again, on the screen, we've got a date of submission of information by June 22nd, here in a few days. We've got a little over almost a month. And then again, as Debbie said, there's where you make the application, the docket, the notice, etc. And again, reading some background in this, I was reading on some stuff last night, and what they're saying is they don't want to have what happened to the PPP. They don't want all the money to just go out. So they're trying to do this one payment theory, putting some out. But in part of the background in this area, is they're trying to say there may be some commodities or maybe some farm products that they haven't thought of or didn't get classified correctly, and they want enough money that they can provide for those other unknowns at this point in time. And remember, this goes all the way through August 28th, starting today, goes through August 28th. But for any modifications or to say, if there's groups out there saying, hey, we got left out of this, immediately take action and follow what's here on this screen.
Can you think of any other commodities that they haven't included?
Well, I don't know that it's so much any other commodities that they did not include. I think it's a definition of the commodity. I'm starting to sound like the government. Sorry. But, for example, I got a call on timber. Well, then I got to think about, timber. We have clients that file Form T for timber stuff. Then the question is, first, are they even in the business? So the person cutting the logs, that's over a regular business. Are they in the farming business? So I think we're going to start seeing some of that as far as clarifications through the USDA. So again, I think if you think you have a commodity, if you think you have a farm product, put an application in. Another thing I recommend, if you belong to some kind of association, check with them to say, hey, it's like I'm going to take the cut flowers. There's major floral associations there. Get the powers to be to get together and say, hey, we want part of this. So, any other final comments? Wanted to just do a short one. We are going to be doing some other videos. We're going to, now that we've got the calculator, now that we got the application, we're going to be going through that in some other videos. And so, again, a short, quick one on some great information. We're now learning what doesn't qualify, which is always the opposite of what qualifies. But what it helps to do is to define the universe. Hope this helps. I want to thank you for attending. Please subscribe. We'll continue to put out more and more videos.